Hi, my name is Janice Imoisi with Texas Realty, and today I want to talk to you about the home buying process and what steps you need to take to get started, as well as what important things you need to know to help make this journey a success for you and your families. A little bit about my background. I have a degree in marketing from the University of Houston. I'm originally from Chicago. I'm a Texan now because I've been here for over 25 years. I'm a homeowner. I have one son and one daughter. I'm an investor, writer, publisher, and cook. I love to cook. I also published a little cookbook. A little bit about my experience. I have owned my own mortgage company. I have worked for the big banks. I used to work for a custom home builder who was my husband before he passed away. All right, the agenda for today. We're going to be talking about the pre-approval letter and why it's important and why you need it first and foremost. We're going to talk about what the first page of the contract looks like. We're going to look at a survey. We're going to talk about down payment assistance, the classes. And we're also going to talk about the initial out-of-pocket fees, why these are so important from the very beginning. A lot of times, first-time home buyers or people who are purchasing for the first time, they don't realize there are some initial out-of-pocket fees that they have to have set aside, ready, and available when they go to submit that offer. We're going to talk about the home buying process. Homeowners insurance versus the home warranty, flood insurance, which is totally separate from homeowners insurance. A lot of times people think that if the house floods that it's covered because they have homeowners insurance. That's not true. Home inspections, new home builders, open houses, the home loan toolkit, the 10 commandments of buying a home, the moving checklist, after closing, final tips, and any questions that you might have. Now, the pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter is very important. In order to submit an offer, you need to have this letter accompany the offers when the realtor write it up, because this lets the seller know that you have been vetted through a lender or bank that you can buy the home. The lender is going to request certain documents from you, like your W-2s, paycheck stubs, bank statement, and your tax returns, so that they can check your income out to make sure that the home you're trying to purchase or arrange, or in terms of funds, whatever you're trying to get approved for, that amount that you can afford to buy the house should you present an offer for the home. This is what the first page of the contract looks like. It's 9 pages. It's one of many documents that the realtor will be submitting on your behalf. Just so you see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's actually a partial page. It's not even a complete page, but I just threw that in there so that you know that when you submit your offer, this is the first page. Property survey. This is a property survey, and basically the property survey spells out easements, property lines in conjunction with your neighbors. Bottom line, it's basically where your house sits on the lot and where your property lines are located. Down payment assistance and classes. This is just a little list of down payment assistance classes throughout Houston. Some of them do charge a fee. I think the fee is $25. They do have some weekend classes at some of the locations. If you're interested in attending one of these classes, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to send you a copy. Just note that once you attend this class, you will receive a certificate. That certificate is good for 1 year. Just because you receive the certificate does not mean you are approved for the down payment assistance funds. Let me say that again. Just because you receive the certificate does not mean that you are approved for the down payment assistance funds. So make sure that you're with a lender or a loan officer that understands how to process down payment assistance with Harris County or the city of Houston, and she will have to qualify you for their program, and the certificate is just one of the many requirements you need to have that would accompany the loan package when it's submitted for you to get those funds. Initial out-of-pocket fees. This is a very important page. This is what I was talking about. So you're going to buy a house and they tell you we can get you a loan, 100% financing, no money down, or the seller's going to pay for all your closing costs, or the down payment assistance is going to pay for down payment and closing costs. Great, fine. What do I do next? Okay. The lender has vetted you, checked you out, and gave you a pre-approval letter saying you can purchase a home up to $200,000. Doesn't mean you have to spend $200. Just says you can go up to $200,000. So whatever house you find, you're gonna pay 1% of the sales price in earnest money. That earnest money is gonna accompany the contract, and you're also gonna pay an option fee. And the option fee is gonna go to the seller. It's basically telling the seller, hey, we're going to pull your house off the market. I'm going to have it inspected to make sure everything is looking good. It's copacetic, and then after the inspection report comes back, then we continue to move forward with the loan. So the option fee, I think, is a pretty small price to pay to pull someone's home off the market to have it inspected. So again, just make sure you have 1% of the sales price. You're going to have an option fee check you're going to write to the seller. And in the contract, there's a spot for these two items here for the earnest money, how much is going to be given over to the title company. They're going to hold those funds in escrow for you. You will receive a credit. So any money you pay out of pocket towards your purchase of your home, and let me correct that, I shouldn't say any money. The majority of the money that you pay out of pocket towards the purchase of your new home, you will receive a credit back. But do let me stress, for the home inspection, that's not considered a closing cost item. That home inspection that you're going to have done, you're going to pay that on your own behalf. It's just the cost of doing business. So whatever home you select, you get to choose your own inspection or inspector, and not Uncle Bob. It has to be a licensed inspector. So this website here will allow you to go and find you a home inspector, or you can inquire around to ask someone if they've used a real good inspector that you can use to have your property inspected. Termite inspection. Sometimes you would need to have the home treated for termites, or the seller will have the home treated for termites, or you may even have to have a termite inspection done to even find out how bad it is and what you can negotiate with the seller on if that's the case. So hopefully the home inspector you choose can do both. If you need to have the termite inspection done. It's not necessarily all the time you will. Most of the time it's just earnest money, option fee, home inspection, and that's it. But in rare cases, you would need to have a termite inspection done. The last three appear on the closing costs disclosure, but it's paid at the end when you close at the title company. Everything is done at the end because you'll bring a check for what the balance is after all the fees and things have been deducted and credited and things like that. You'll have a final amount that you'll have to bring in. Part of these closing cost fees are 5, 6, and 7 as well. So, but just note that these are just estimates. Some of these fees can be deducted from your total closing costs, but not all. Like I said, the home inspection is not a fee that you will find to be deducted from your closing costs. The home buying process. This is a cute little Monopoly board I kind of picked up that I liked, that outlines and talks about the home buying process in very good detail. It's pretty much like we were talking about before, about that pre-approval letter, finding a house, making an offer, and then going through and submitting for the application process. You got a contract when the seller signs, because you're going to pull it off the market, have an inspection done. And the lender is not going to order that appraisal until the inspection has been completed and you and the seller have agreed upon what items are going to be fixed before closing. So they'll get the A-OK from your realtor. Hey, we're done. You can go ahead and order that appraisal now. Because if they order the appraisal prior to the inspection and something comes up, now you've lost money because you had to pay for an appraisal as well. A lot of times they'll collect an application fee if it's a big bank. And if they happen to order the appraisal, that application fee you pay is not going to pay for that appraisal. So a lot of times if you see application fee and the deal goes through okay, it'll be flipped to cover the appraisal funds, because that's funds you actually put down at the time of application. So it's going to go through the whole process and go through underwriting, and you're going to get stuff that comes in, the survey, the appraisal, the title commitment. You're going to look for your own homeowner's insurance. Inside the contract, your realtor is going to put in for a home warranty, but there are a lot of different moving parts. I won't go into a whole lot of detail here. I'm going to make some other videos where I kind of go into specific details about a specific time of the home buying process, because it can be a lot to absorb in one sitting. So, but just kind of look back on this video and check out this home buying process and ask questions if you have any. All right, here's the homeowner's insurance versus the home warranty. Just some little key things that or subtle differences between the two. The homeowner's insurance covers, as you see, like if a tree falls on a house, if you have roof damage by wind or hail damage, if you have pipes that break and flood the home. This is like an exception to that flood insurance rule. However, not all insurance policies cover this. So that's why it's really important when you're shopping for homeowners insurance, you check to see if these things are covered. If your personal belongings are stolen, if a dog bites your neighbor who sues. So these are things that the homeowners insurance covered. If there's a hurricane, like we just had Hurricane Harvey comes and destroys your house, you have homeowners insurance. The home warranty, however, covers items in the home like appliances, dishwasher, air conditioner, refrigerator. It's not all the time covered. It's extra, just like a swimming pool. So when you're looking for a home warranty, or when your realtor is writing up the contract, look at some of the different home warranties to see exactly what things are covered. Sometimes they will cover changing the locks on the doors for you, which is important. Reprogramming the garage door openers, which is important, especially if you're taking over a home from someone else. So make sure you check these things out. Again, flood insurance is a totally separate policy from your regular homeowner's insurance. Flood insurance is great for, like I said, what we just had, Hurricane Harvey. If it's a separate policy from your homeowner's insurance, a lot of people had homeowner's insurance but no flood insurance, which means that they did not have coverage for flood damage into the home. So you may not be in a flood area, but it's always recommended that you may not be in a flood area now, but you may be in one tomorrow. So it's only about, what, $500, I believe, a year for the flood insurance. I'm not in a flood area, but I carry it. I was scared, though, this past time because I forgot to renew it. And believe me, the water came within 6 feet from my home, and I was getting super, super nervous because I didn't have any flood insurance. So just be aware that flood insurance is separate from your regular homeowner's insurance. Home inspection. When the home inspector comes out and he's spending those 3 to 5 hours, depending on how big the home is, these are the things that he's looking at. You do not necessarily have to be present at the home inspection, but if you want to be there, you can. But just know that your home inspector is going to be in one of these places doing some of these things to inspect the home for you. And within 24 to 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, he's going to give you a full report on the home, and he's also going to give you a summary at the end of the report that you can go over with your realtor and talk to the seller about if there are some things that need to be fixed. Now, let's talk a little bit about new home builders. If you're in the market to buy a new home, please, 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 please take your realtor with you. I do know sometimes it's difficult to just snatch up your realtor on a weekend. If it's a nice, beautiful weekend and you and the family are out and about and bam, you run across one of these new home builders that popped up in your neighborhood and you just want to drop by and take a look and you're feeling a little guilty, don't. I tell my clients all the time, hey, if you can't get me, meaning I can't go with you at that time you want to go look. I encourage you to go look, but I also want you to do one very, very important thing for me. Make sure you take my business card, make sure you inform the salesperson, and make sure they understand you have representation, you have a realtor, and if you're going to sign any of their forms, you want to put your realtor's name down there as well as their phone number, because you just happen to be out in the neighborhood and your realtor wasn't able to come with you at that time, but you will be bringing them back because the realtor has a lot of power and can call and find out any additional incentives and things like that that the home builder salesperson or the home builder may be offering. But please note that the salesperson does not work for you or represent you. They represent and work for and on behalf of the builder. So yes, you come in, they are lovely people. They do a wonderful job of selling their product. I love them to death. They are really good at what they do, but you also need someone to represent you who's really good at what they do as well, so that when those contracts and things are being signed and your realtor is advising you to get a home inspector, while the salespeople there are telling you don't need a home inspector, it's really good for you to to follow the advice of your hired realtor from your side. This is just a checklist that I put together. It's a partial list. These are some of the things that I like to gather. So when you go, like I said, I want you to take the business card with you. Make sure you write the realtor's name and telephone number on the sheet that they want to have you sign. And get the sales counselor's name and phone number so the realtor can call them back as well. And make sure you let the sales counselor know, hey, I'm going to be having my realtor call you and talk to you in more detail about this. But don't sign anything. And if they tell you, hey, if your realtor's not here, they can't be with you at signing, then you just let them know that then you can't write anything down on paper. You just want to make sure that they understand that you do have representation, because sometimes there are buyers that's also selling a home that the realtor is representing them on, and those two contracts tie in together. It's like, okay, I'm gonna help you sell your home, but just know that I will also be representing you when you buy the home. So let's just make sure that everybody's aware of that you have representation. Open houses is the same thing, pretty much. You go visit an open house. It's the weekend. It's beautiful. It's nice. The family's out and about. There will be most of the time a sign-in sheet. Just make sure you put on there you do have a realtor who's representing you. You put the realtor's name and phone number if there's space for that. But just, again, it's just disclosure. Just letting people know, hey, I'm being represented. Hey, I do have a realtor who's representing me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you asking. Again, the open house checklist, just a few little things. Just make sure you have the realtor's business card. Try to jot down the name of the subdivision you visited and the address of the home and the sales price and any comments you may have. Maybe you like the house. Maybe you liked a lot of the features that it had and you want to go back and possibly make an offer on that particular home. I do have what is called the Home Loan Toolkit. It's a step-by-step guide. Again, about this home buying process. It has a lot of lingo in there and language that is used during this whole process. It can be emailed to you. Normally you get it when you first start out on your journey to home buying. So please, again, email me if you'd like a copy of it. I'd be more than happy to send you the toolkit. The 10 Commandments of Home Buying. Now, I'd say maybe 80% of the time, the first-time home buyer will break 2 or more of these rules before we get to the end of the process. And just know that breaking any of these rules can and often do terminate or change your loan profile or put you into a state where you no longer can qualify to purchase the home. So just be very, very careful to not do any of these things that's on this list. Be certain to talk to your loan officer if you're thinking about or not sure about whether you should or can do anything on this list. You can't do anything on this list, so just make sure you run everything by your loan officer. So we're going to run through these really, really quick, and I'll be brief. So number 1, don't change jobs or become self-employed or quit your job. I've had people retire before 2 days before closing. I've had people change their jobs because they were going to get more money, but it's not in the same field. So be real careful about doing this. Don't buy a new car, truck, or van. I've had people that try to buy a car for a daughter or for a son and think that it's not going to show up on a credit report until that next month. Trust me, the lenders are going to pull your credit. They're going to do a soft pull. They're going to take a look at it right before you close to make sure you didn't go out and do any of these things. So they will find out, and you will be punished for it because they're going to add it into your debt ratios and it's going to mess you up. So please don't go out and buy a new car. Don't go out using the charge cars excessively. Meaning you know you're getting a new house, it's a big empty house, understand that. You see this nice flat screen TV, you just want to go shopping, you see all these cute little things you can buy for the house. Don't do it. Don't spend money you have set aside for the closing. Sometimes we can get a little bit crazy, or people have gotten a little bit crazy, and they spend money that they had set aside in a special account just for the purpose of purchasing the home, and then they find out towards the end they don't have enough funds. So just be real careful about this, and try not to omit debts or liabilities from your loan application. There are debts that don't necessarily show up on your credit report. Be sure to discuss those things with your loan officer so that they can know how to handle that for you in terms of reporting and taking it out of your debt ratios. And when you see the furniture sales, don't run down and purchase new furniture. A lot of people want to go and open up furniture accounts so that they can fill the house. I do understand that, but you need to make sure that you're not adding to your liabilities so that it makes you not qualify again for the loan. Number 7, please do not originate any inquiries into your credit. And what I mean by that is when you try to apply for anything, a car, a new credit card, any type of credit, it's called an inquiry on your credit report. And so you're going to have to explain to the lender, hey, what were you trying to buy? We see that you have several inquiries on here. You didn't have these prior to starting your loan application, and now you have them. What did you buy, and when is that going to show up on your credit? And see, you're thinking you're okay because it's not showing up right away, but they see the inquiry, which means you either got that credit card or you didn't. So if you didn't, you have to explain that you didn't, depending on which loan you're qualified to get. So be real careful about that. Do not make any large deposits without first checking with your loan officer. This is where even if it's $50 in your account, you turn over your bank statements, they see you put cash in the account for $50, they're going to want to know what it is. If you go and you sell items, say you got money for jewelry and you dumped a large chunk of money in an account, they're going to want to know, where did that money come from? Who gave it to you? Why did they give it to you? In other words, you need to have a paper trail. Direct deposits are okay, especially from your workplace, but just be real careful about taking chunks of money or cash money and just randomly dumping it into your account. You need to have a totally separate account that's strictly for your loan. It can't be a brand new account because they're going to want 2 to 3 months of bank statements. So just be real careful here. Do not co-sign a loan for anyone during this process. Somebody may need you to put your name down on something for them. Again, don't do it. Even if it's, like I said, if you're trying to help someone with an apartment, or if you're trying to do it could be a personal loan. Those, again, are inquiries. Those are red flags for the lender. Be careful about that. And again, don't change bank accounts. This is number 10. We kind of talked about this. Just because you're messing up the bank account that you're not supposed to be dumping large deposits into, and you're spending money and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with it, doesn't mean that you can wipe it all away by going to open up a fresh bank account. Again, it's going to draw another red flag up for the lender, and they're going to look at you very closely now. So just be real careful about bank accounts, putting money in and out of those accounts, and get with your loan officer. They'll be the best person to advise you and tell you what you need to be doing. Moving checklist. This is a really good one. I love to send this checklist out to my buyers because it kind of gives them an idea. It kind of gauges you of some of the things that you should be doing before that big day come. And it's a very helpful, useful list. So I've had people tell me that it really helped them. So I will be sending that out. After closing, I like to get reviews if I did a good job for you. And if I didn't do a good job, I still like to hear what was it that I could have done better. So please copy and paste for me any reviews. And this helps me to grow my business as well. Final tips. I highly advise, and I've said this before, work with a realtor. They're going to handle all your paperwork, your negotiations, and they're going to be the person that represents you. So this is very, very important, and this is very, very dear and near to my heart, because I hear of a lot of people trying to go it alone, and disaster just happens, and it's really difficult for a realtor to come in after the fact, after the option period, after the inspections, and after stuff wasn't negotiated, to rewind the clock and fix things. You can't. Once time runs out on certain things that need to be done, it's hard to go back, and you're kind of stuck until either you close and the deal it's just not a good thing to do. Like I said, I've seen some horrible things happen to some really good people. Okay. Like I said, if you're not good with paperwork or contracts and dates and things like that, get a realtor. All right. If you have any questions for me, or you would like to ask me any questions, or you would like to talk to me, just shoot me an email or call me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and advise you if you like. Even if you're not working with me and you have someone, I try not to talk to people that do have representation, because it's not a good thing to do. Just talk to your realtor about some of the questions you may have, and I'm pretty sure they'll do a really good job of assisting you. We're all pretty good, so just go back and try to resolve any things that you can or might have. Oh, and I also have a first-time home buyer book. It's called Insider Secrets to Buying a Home. It's free. You can get a free copy. So if you would like a copy of that as well, I'm going to include that in the link below this video. And I will be making some more videos, but I'll get more in depth with some of the items that are listed here, because I didn't have enough time to spend on some of the specifics on each individual one. So please like this video so I can make more. If you've enjoyed it and if it can help you, I have done my part. So happy house hunting is what I always say. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.